deep transformations from the late 19th century and into the 20th century. Labour has always been a progressive force for change, democratizing capitalism, pushing back its rationalities, etc., or irrationalities. Labour has always sought, if you like, to counter it with the logic of worker control, worker power, socialism, etc. But Labour is largely defeated, it's been remade, it's been fragmented. I mean, in this country, we have about 26 federations. Sad. We have one of the most militant labour movements in the world in this country. Okay. But again, how was this labour movement defeated is a very important question related to this. Okay. And this is where the idea of passive revolution becomes important. So this book, COSATU in Crisis, was based on a survey of 600 shop stewards. And it was asking them, around 2014 I think it was, 2015, I can't remember now. It was asking them very critical questions about the inner world of trade union politics at the point of production. Where their shop steward councils convened, where they engaged in democratic praxis, trying to figure out not just bread and butter issues, but where to take the economy and society. And this survey was very revealing because it showed that COSATU was dying at its base. It was confirming how the way the African nationalists were restructuring this economy, it was squeezing labour. It was defeating labour, actually. Okay. So, and in that context, at the same time, they were co-opting labour leaders as well into the machine politics that they can see. So, that's where we are. We are dealing with a fragmented working class. We are dealing with a defeated working class. And a working class that's increasingly all about narrow economistic issues. Okay. But, this book is not about giving up on workers. It's not about that. Okay. We have to find pathways to workers. And this is what this book is arguing for. And climate justice is one pathway back to workers. Because workers are working in factories, or they are working in mines that are based on carbon and fossil fuels. They are partly implicated in the problem, but they potentially have solutions. So 80,000 workers in coal mining in this country, they need to be engaged very, very seriously around a climate justice alternative. Okay? And that climate justice alternative is about planning the just transition, because these workers are living an unjust transition right now. The ANC government is not interested in a just transition. They're two-faced. They're about offshore oil and gas extraction. They're about expanding the minerals energy complex. We've got 40,000 new coal mines servicing the European Kusile, etc., etc. Okay, but they'll talk presidential climate commission. These workers are sitting there knowing that there's no just transition plan for them out of coal mining. We need to have a just transition plan that develops with them and mining affected communities. We need to be able to put forward a universal basic income for the society. This will provide some cushion of support for them, knowing that tomorrow when I lose my job, at least I'm going to have an income. Okay? This is very, very important as part of this just transition politics. I think we're at a moment, Susanna, where we have to test these things. In the climate justice charter movement space, we've moved from a phase of lobbying, campaigning, trying to raise awareness, and even asking our parliament to adopt the world's first climate justice charter. But we are now in the phase of building this movement into a transformative movement. And this is where engaging with labour is going to be very, very critical. So it's not clear how this is all going to come together, but I think there's immense possibilities. Labour will be a key front of how we build strategically, but it won't be the only front, because climate affects all of society. And what we need is a social tipping point. And that will come from working with labour, but that won't be sufficient. It will come from working with communities. It will come from working with sectors. It will come from democratizing logics impacting the state, etc.
Thank you so much, Professor.